how to sew this jacket. First, you're gonna get your pattern pieces available at goodtastemarket.com, and then you're gonna lay them out, throw them on the fold, and then you're gonna get your pocket piece, fold in the inside with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then you're just gonna sew right down the middle, as you can see here. And then you're gonna also fold in the pocket side to have a clean finish. Again, a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and we're just gonna start sewing down. Make sure you pin the pieces, because then it'll make it easier for you to catch it in the bottom. I've just been doing this a while, so I'm just used to not pinning, but don't do as I do. This is what the pieces should look like. Now you're gonna take your front panel pieces, you should have 2 of those, and then you're gonna place the front pockets on them just like this, and then sew along across the front piece like that. So we are attaching the pockets, as you can see here. And then if you want to secure it, you can also sew the bottom half of it as well to just enclose it really well, and back stitch all your stitches. So now we're gonna do the back pleats. So you're gonna get your back piece, and then as you can see here, create the pleats with the 2 slash marks that I have here. So you see the slash marks, you're just gonna fold it to each other and then enclose it that way. Sew right down the middle. So as you can see here, I'm putting the 2 pleats together to create this little dart, and then just sew right here, back stitch. I'm just gonna pivot turn, sew some more, just so I can lock that in. Nothing too crazy, and then this is what it should look like. Now we're gonna get the back piece, and then get our front pieces and attach the shoulder seams together, as you can see here. And let's bring it to the sewing machine. Let's start that going. And again, 1/2 inch seam allowance. So we're gonna start this the shoulder seams. And then once you're done with the shoulder seams, we're gonna also top stitch it, but we're gonna be pressing the seams towards the front, so that it has a clean finish. That's very important. And right now we're gonna top stitch it, as you can see, pressing the seams towards the front of the jacket, and then doubling it up right here to give it the reinforcement. So as you can see, just going down on it, and then it should look like this. Now we're gonna grab the sleeve pattern. You should have 2 of those, and then we're gonna attach them to the jacket. And then make sure that when you do cut out the pattern pieces, you cut out the notches right here. As you can see, this is the front, and the 2 slashes on the represents the back. So then when you go and align the fabric, you should align it to the back of the jacket, so then it fits perfectly. So as you can see what I'm doing here, we're just gonna sew all the way through, aligning the fabric to the jacket, sewing through with the curves. Take your time. Again, 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then you're gonna finish all the way through. And then once you're done sewing, you're gonna flip it around and push the seams towards the jacket, and then top stitch just to give it to that reinforcement, as you can see what I'm doing right here. So then it gives it more structure, and again, it's just for durability use as well. So, and I think it gives it a nice look at the end, and I'll show you what it looks like once I'm done sewing, doing my thing. So back stitch it all, and then it should look like this, really clean and solid. Here's another look, and again, it gives it the structure that it needs. So now we're going to attach the jacket together, flip it inside out, and then from the from the sleeve, we're going to sew all the way around, back down to enclose the jacket. Again, 1/2 inch seam allowance. Make sure that your fabric is aligned. Go through, and remember, folks, pin your garment, and then any excess fabric you can go ahead and cut. As you can see here, I had a little bit on the side, so I just trimmed that off a little bit. Shouldn't really get that much on the pattern because I fixed it, but again, if you do, you can trim off a little bit off. So I'm just gonna sew the rest of the jacket down to the bottom, as you can see here, putting it all together and giving it a good sew straight down. As well as when you're done with this too, if you want, you can also press the seams towards the front of the jacket and give that a top stitch. It makes it really clean and durable. Now we're going to measure the bottom of the jacket to make sure that the waistband is the same length with the seam allowance. So right here, make sure that it's 3 inches, just because you have the seam allowance as well as the fold over. So then the band should be an inch thick. And as you can see, I'm just attaching the band to the jacket, and then now I'm flipping it over. So then to create the band, to give it a real clean finish. Again, make sure you pin in place and then stitch. It'll help a lot. So then you're catching the front and the back of the jacket. And back stitch all your stitches. As you can see, very clean, and have the band installed. Now we're gonna do the zipper, and going through it, I measured. I got the 22-inch that I found at Walmart, and it worked perfect. And you want a separating zipper, guys. So now we're gonna attach the zipper face down, because then once we're done attaching the zipper face down, we're gonna flip it over and give that a top stitch. And then I'll show you what it looks like right here. So that's what it'll look like once you flip it over and give it a top stitch. Very clean, very professional. Now we're doing the collar. You should have 2 pieces, and you're gonna sew around here, all the way down here. And let's do that now. So again, sew all the way around. And then once you're done sewing, you want to snip off the edges as you see there and flip through, and then top stitch all the way around to give it that structure. Again, you should also use interfacing if you're going to use a lighter fabric on the band as well as the collar here. And then I'm just coming around, finishing it over, leaving a little bit of a gap at the bottom, about a 1/2 inch, so then I can attach it to the jacket here from the zipper all the way down. So then I'll give it a clean finish. Now, unfortunately, I ran out of space on my phone, so I couldn't show the top stitching. But once you're done stitching it that way, you're gonna flip it over, and then make sure that you tuck in the rest of the fabric to give it a clean finish, because then you should end up with the jacket like this when it's all said and done. I really loved how it came out. Again, the pattern is available at goodtastemarket.com if you want to sew one of these again. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.